Umar Johnson, Dr. Umar Johnson was just on there, and he's super viral right now with these clips. Whoever is running the clips, like creating edits and things like that for the clips, I know they had a good time doing Umar clips because, first of all, everything that y'all put out from Umar is going viral. So that's the best thing that you could do is create a clip and it actually do on social media what you want it to do. And that's go crazy viral. And everything that they've been putting out from Umar is like gone. So I know that's a blessing, right? Shout out to them for that. And then the stuff that Umar is saying is just always entertaining. As always, very entertaining, man. Shout out to Umar. I was seeing so many people having conversations around, like some people like, yo, how could you disagree with this? Like he's saying stuff that should be common sense, but people just argue against it because you don't like him. And then you have some people saying like, how could you listen to a person like this? He stole money and he won't put the school out, or where's the school and all that. So it's like, there's a lot of argument around that. And then there's people who are just listening to what he's saying and responding to just what he's saying. So I have seen a lot of conversation around like, what has Umar done for black people, right? Because Umar keeps on being critical of other people and what they've done for black people and what they haven't done for black people. So people are saying, well, what has Umar done for black people? And I would say, because I actually feel like oratory genius can do a lot for us because we are a storytelling people. That's what we have been known for many years, right? So it's not just about storytelling, but the whole idea of using the power of the tongue to get a message to our people, that's very, very profound. That's why preachers have such a major impact on black people. But anyway, when they say, what has Umar done? I would say he's done the same thing that pretty much everybody else that gets praise from the past has done. What has W.E.B. Du Bois done for black people? The same thing Umar did. Tell us stuff. He told us what he thinks we should be doing and what he thinks we're doing wrong and how we could do better. That's what they all do. What has Martin Luther King done? Tell us stuff. What has Obama done? Tell us stuff. What has any of these people? If we only want to give, the funny thing is, the people who do actions, like who do service things for black people, it seems like they get the least amount of credit. Honestly, the people who like the Tony Lewis Jr.'s in the world or the Booker T. Washingtons, of course, people recognize Booker T, but he doesn't get, like, he should be a bigger figure than like Martin Luther King to the black community. But because he didn't make as much noise with white people because they don't know him as much, then we don't talk about him as much. But Booker T did way more for black people. Went and got his degree, then he went down to Alabama and built the university, had black people build the university with him, so they gained those skills. And then when they built the college, then they went and started teaching black people to become teachers, and then they put out a whole army of black teachers across the South. Like, that's somebody who really should be, when they had the pictures of Jesus, Martin Luther King, and JFK in the households, they should have had Booker T up there, Booker T. Washington up there. You understand what I'm saying? People who have actually done, like, even people want to look down on it now, but early gang leaders, those people really was putting their life on the line to fight back against police, fight back against white mobs for us. People don't talk about them people because y'all don't want to talk about them. You don't want to talk about the people who have actually done real actions for black people to progress us. Some people, you talk about the Black Panther Party, but a lot of times they talk about the Black Panther Party in passing for real. They don't get the real credit and accolades that they deserve to get for what they've done in this country. And it's mostly because of how they fell apart. The way that they fell apart, it made it so that people who are not friendlies to us in our causes in America, they got to tell the story of the Black Panthers. It mostly was from a criminal standpoint and how they were taken down because they were walking around with guns and all that. Like, people, the image of Black Panthers is really like, oh yeah, those are the guys that used to walk around with the guns all day. But that's not, most of these kids, most of them were like college kids. Most of them were scholars. They did the gun thing because they were challenging something that was going on at that time. But for the most part, these were scholars. These were the ones who, if they started right now, y'all would look at them like, yo, these dumb kids always think they know everything. That was them, the intellectual black youth at that time. That's who they were. And they was actually out here making change. They was actually out here in the community. They were having to fight against their parents' generation. Their parents' generation didn't support them. You see what I'm saying? And then the people who came under them pretty much act like they didn't exist because how they fell apart. Some of them got on drugs. Some of them died. Some of them, all different types of stuff happened. But they didn't get support from the generation under them or the older people, people older than them. So a lot of them, we had like the people of the like late 80s and 90s had to dig their legacy back up and kind of make the Black Panthers cool again. And then even after that, it got forgotten again after that. But the people who actually like, they don't big up Nat Turner like they should. They don't big up Denmark Vesey like they should. So if y'all rather talk about the Malcolm X's of the world and the Martin Luther Kings of the world and the Du Bois of the world and people like that, if that's who y'all like to talk about, the orators, then Umar goes right in line with them. He's one of them. He's one of the orators of Black history, one of the great orators of Black history. That's what they did, and that's what y'all give all the praise to. If people gave all the praise to Huey P. Newton and his people, there would be way more of that. If they gave all the praise to Nat Turner and them, there would be way more. If they gave more praise to Josiah Henson and them, there would be more praise for that type of activity. But if the only person you talk about is Harriet Tubman, then it seems like an outlier, and it seems like, okay, well, she was just special and there was no more of that. If the only people that we talk about is Martin Luther King, then they'll say, oh, well, he was just an outlier. He was special. There was no more of that. So, okay, well, nobody else needs to follow that blueprint. We'll just wait for another one to come. You see what I'm saying? But I think that giving good information to Black people is doing something for Black people. That's why I think that it's important that we do stuff like podcasts like this. Every podcast can't sit around and talk to everybody about relationships and what is a man doing right and what is a woman doing wrong and what is every podcast can't be like that. I can't knock the people who are doing it because clearly it's working out for them. They get money and they have an audience for it. They have a bigger audience for that than they have the type of stuff I do. Somebody get on a podcast and read about neurology and talk, but I'm talking to Black people about this. There's really no audience for that, but that's what I'm into. So that's what I'm gonna keep on doing. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that for sure, you know, people like Umar, I'll give them the same respect that I give any orator from the past. If I didn't have no problem with James Baldwin and them, all they was doing was talking and writing scripts and poems and stories and stuff like that. What's the difference between Umar? So what? That's how I feel about it.